super tiny, perfectly adjustable, smart, 4K capable, and with probably the coolest privacy mechanism I've seen on a web camera, is the new EMEET C960 Ultra. And yes, this kind of starts like an ad, but is it really that good? Let's inspect. Hi! Nice to see you, I'm Michael, and in this video I'm not gonna try convincing you that you need this or that you absolutely must buy one. What I want to do is to cover its real-life performance and the overall experience so that by the end of the video, you know everything that actually matters before spending your money. And speaking of important details, this video is kindly sponsored by EMEET, but just like always, I'm free to build and run this review the way I usually do, with lots of detail, plenty of samples, comparisons, and of course, proper drawbacks list by the end. So let me give you the verdict early. The C960 Ultra is one of the most impressive web cameras I've tested in this size and price category. Its main strength is very simple: video quality. So if you want a compact, dedicated web camera that looks clearly more serious than the usual laptop camera or a generic USB webcam, this one delivers. But as always, marketing and reality are not exactly the same thing, so let's go through it properly. Video quality is the first topic because honestly, that's the main reason to even care about a web camera like this. And the quality here is good. Actually, more than good, I would say it's pretty excellent. The easiest way for me to describe this, well, it gets very close to good smartphone level camera image quality, and that is not something I would easily say for a web camera. EMEET say that the image sensor is 1 by 1.5 inch, and based on the research I did, likely this is the OmniVision OV50E, which is a sensor used in smartphones such as the Poco F6 Pro, the Moto Edge 50 and others, and that matters because it helps explain why the image coming out of this little thing looks so much better than what we are used to from a web camera. Of course, I'm going to show side-by-side comparisons because a statement like this needs a proof. Here, it is next to another popular web camera. And yes, this one hurts a little. This is next to the built-in web camera of my Lenovo laptop. From all these examples, my conclusion is pretty straightforward. C960 Ultra is on par or better than the competition, gets very close to the mighty iPhone main camera sensor in some scenarios, and is a very significant step up from almost any built-in laptop web camera. Now, let's talk about the design and the build quality, because this is another area where the C960 Ultra makes a very good first impression. The unboxing experience is quite standard for a web camera, so there are no crazy surprises there, but it still feels nice and put together. What you will definitely remember though is the material choice. It comes in aluminium body, and that immediately makes it feel more premium. But I don't think EMEET chose aluminium just for aesthetics. It also makes a lot of sense because of its thermal characteristics, and honestly makes me think this web camera is very unlikely to ever have overheating issues in normal use. Here's the proof. And yes, I told you in the beginning about my favorite part, the privacy shutter. I really love how it's done. It is tactile, satisfying, useful. Undeniably, this front ring feels inspired by some recent action cameras. That is not a bad thing at all. It adds character, but also gives you the hardware-based privacy mechanism, which I trust far more than a software icon pretending the camera is off. On the back, you have the USB port, and the included stand is very convenient for laptop lids and monitor tops. It adjusts easily, feels practical, and if you want more flexibility, it is also removable. Underneath, there's the 1/4-inch thread, which means you can mount the camera on a tripod without needing any weird adapters. That's great news if you want more precise angle, or if you're using it in a podcast, streaming, or desk studio setup. The technical specs only reinforce the idea that we are dealing with a rather high-end web camera. You get the inbuilt microphones we mentioned, there's an up-to-date connectivity setup, ability to stream in 4K, the already mentioned fantastic large image sensor, tripod mounting support, the mechanical privacy mechanism, and a very functional desktop software environment. And a fun fact, I'm recording this segment with the C960 Ultra itself. So you're not just hearing about my opinion, but you're also seeing the product in action while I'm talking about it. The microphone quality is also good, but here I want to manage the expectations because we talk about an inbuilt setup, and you know the rule of thumb, the closer you are to the microphone, the better. The audio quality, the less the background noises and the echo and all other unpleasant things. And fact is that most people don't have a perfectly soundproof room. Therefore, if your audio quality is a priority, then an external setup such as this one would make perfectly good sense. But if convenience is your priority, I would say the inbuilt microphones inside the C960 Ultra are pretty decent. The field of view is also not too wide, and I think this is the correct decision for this kind of product. It means that C960 Ultra is best suited for one person or maybe two people if you position it properly. If you want to fit a larger group in a frame, you will probably need a tripod and a bit more distance. But for the typical use case, one person at a desk, this framing feels much more natural and flattering than the overly wide look that some web cameras give you. But we are not finished yet, because here comes one of my favorite parts, the software. This is where the C960 Ultra becomes even more interesting, especially for enthusiasts and people who like to fine-tune the image. Let me quickly show you how you deal with the controls. First of all, from the drop-down we have to select Customize. From here, all these controls are unlocked. About brightness, I anyway have the feeling brightness is way too much at the moment. You can tune up the contrast, tone it down if you want. You can lock the auto exposure, and yeah, you can control ISO levels up to, well, I think this is just a percentage value. But anyhow, I would stick with the defaults. Sharpness, like this is what it does. Sharpness makes everything really sharp. If you want to hide some, signs of aging, then probably you can keep the sharpness at a low level. You can tune up the saturation, the tone as well. So you can really play a lot with this. And of course, we have auto white balance, or you can disable it and you can play around with it manually. Horizontal and vertical flip are possible. Upside down, flipping horizontally. Okay, there's an audio mixing feature with a bit of monitoring in case you feel that's necessary. And in the settings, the ability to control resolution, the preview mode, output channel, whether that's going to be stereo or mono. And I really like this management feature where you can connect multiple EMEET web cameras and you can control them for a bit more complex kind of setup. That balance is one of the best things about this product. It does not force complexity on you, but it does reward you if you want more control. And while this model is superb in almost everything important, you know me, no gadget is perfect yet, so here comes the drawbacks list. First, I would really like to see some option for a wired or wireless external microphone integration. Maybe gesture controls could be there for people who care about such things. Also, because this model is called Ultra, a gentle lighter ring would have been a nice addition for nighttime meetings. And finally, because of the mechanical parts in the privacy mechanism, there is a bit of rattling if you shake the camera. It's not something that affects normal use on the desk, but it's there, and I prefer to mention even the smaller imperfections so you know exactly what to expect. Final thoughts. Well, web cameras are not a must-have product, and I know that there are many devices these days which are promising they can also act as a web camera. There are smartphones which can do it, action cameras that can do it, even some mirrorless cameras have a dedicated mode. But there is still something very valuable about a dedicated, polished, reliable web camera specifically developed for such a task. And all this comes at a price that is actually catchy for what you're getting. So no, you don't necessarily need it, but yes, it can dramatically increase the quality of your video during online meetings, during call streams, and so on. And whether we like it or not, the way we look on camera often directly affects how people perceive the setup, our professionalism level, and sometimes even ourselves. So if you want a web camera that is compact, polished, easy to use, and delivers image quality that is genuinely hard to beat in this class, the C960 Ultra by EMEET is a very strong recommendation for me. Thanks a lot for watching my review. I hope you have enjoyed all these samples. In case of questions or in case you think that this particular type of gear is worth buying, then check the video description for more information. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because more cool tech inspections are on the way, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!